In this video, I'm going to help all you beginners, those of you that are new to rum and rum cocktail. I'm going to help you avoid the biggest mistakes that many bartenders make when it comes to these rum cocktails. These rum cocktails are going to be the ones that you need to know before you progress on your journey to get onto tiki cocktails and more elaborate rum cocktails. So in this video, I've got the two very simple and very basic rum highballs that most people start. I've got the 5 big basic rum cocktails that are the be all and end all when it comes to getting into your rum journey. And then I've got a bonus recipe for you as well. Now, even if you have been around your rum journey for quite a while and you are adept in making rum cocktails, I still advise you to stay tuned because you might pick up some hints and tips here to make your cocktails taste even better. Now, this video is in association with my brand new and updated free ebook. You can download that by hunting in the description. It'll be the very first link in the description below, or you can scan that QR code if you are watching on TV. I'm going to talk you through the recipes in that book, but I'm also going to use the breakdown of the rum categories that I've got in that free ebook to help you understand which rums ideally suit those cocktails. So let's dive straight into the first cocktail, which is the rum and coke. Now, don't groan, don't switch off. This is going to be, I'm just going to walk you through this very quickly because I want to talk about the rums that I would recommend. A lot of people do go for sort of white and aged rums, and actually if you do add a little bit of aging, a little bit of sort of oomph with your rums to this drink, they actually become better rum and cokes. Now, I'm not going to get involved in which cola you should kind of use. That's very much on you, but I just want to guide you through the rum selection. So if you've got my ebook, I want you to scroll through to the gold rum section and the dark rum section, because those are the two sections that I think ideally suit this cocktail. Now, you will see that I have got a few rums listed there. I'm not a huge one for Jamaican funky rum in this sort of cocktail, but what I am, if you look at the gold rums, for instance, what gold rums have I got in there? I would say Appleton Signature is fine because that's not a funky rum. I wouldn't go Worthy Park Select in this. Chairman's Reserve Original is going to be a big thumbs up. Don Bacardi 4-year-old is going to be a big thumbs up. Takamaka is going to be a big thumbs up. Signature Blend. What I'm actually going to do though is actually I forgot. I was going to go to the dark rums because for me, I really do love dark rums. Dark rums don't necessarily mean sweeter. What they kind of, sometimes they have got a little bit of extra sweetness to them, but what they sort of refer to is that they've been aged in intensely charred barrels, which gives them that sort of a little bit of extra woody, a little bit of extra notes, but a little bit more intense notes. And for me, that really does work well with cola, but it's very much on you. I would recommend rums in any of these sections. Perhaps not the Worthy 109 in the dark section, because again, you're going to get that funky Jamaican. But if you do funky Jamaican and coke, rum and coke, you do this. Now, rum and coke, Cuba Libre is very much up to you. Rum and coke is just rum and coke. I'm going to go Cuba Libre sort of stint. So I do firmly believe in. Do you know what? There's a reason why most mixers, and I think this works in the US as well, why most mixers work with 200ml bottles, because they are ideally suited to drinks like this. So I've got a 200ml bottle here. This is the brand that I just love. But, you know, again, this is not the be all and end all. I know there's going to be comments about Mexican cola. Just as far as I'm aware, and don't hold me to this, as far as I'm aware, the UK does exactly the same as Mexican cola. It's not this big phenomenon. It's just we use a different sort of sugar, corn sugar or whatever it is, to what you guys do in the US. So if UK viewers, don't be put off by any of those comments about Mexican cola. Our cola is pretty much the same as Mexican cola. So I do a double bubble, 50ml, 60ml of your rum, and the whole sort of 200ml bottle of the cola. I think that's a great sort of ratio for me, 1:4. If you want to go Cuba Libre, just squeeze that in there. I've picked up a smaller glass here. So Cuba Libre is with lime. I picked up a smaller glass. That is a little bit too strong for me personally. If I want strong drinks, I just drink neat rum. That's my viewpoint. I would go a slightly little bit of glass. This is a 12-ounce glass. I'd probably go for like a 14-ounce glass. You get most of your coke in there. And that is as easy as a Cuba Libre needs to be. Now we're going to move swiftly on to the Dark and Stormy. There is a legal classification. If you use the two apostrophes either side of the N, it then becomes a legal classification. You have to use Goslings for that. But if you call it dark and stormy, AND, or if you call it with the ampersand, dark and stormy, you can use whatever rum you like. But for me, the bit to note here is that I personally do believe dark rums suit this cocktail better. It's exactly what I said for the Cuba Libre. When you've got those intensely charred barrels that give off those sort of big, bold notes in a rum, for me, that does work with the ginger beer. Again, now we could go off on different tangents here with different ginger beers. I'm not going to get into the argument about which ginger beer is used. I'm just going to, they've not sponsored this video. It's just the brand that I've got here. I've got loads of their mixes. I flipping love them. But the point I want to make, if you scroll now to definitely the dark rum section, any of those rums in that book, I highly recommend making this. I just think dark rum and ginger beer is the ideal matchmaker. And for me, actually, what I do like is something with a little bit of funk in it. I do think that sort of Jamaican vibes do work exceptionally well with ginger beer. So I have got a slightly bigger glass this time. Now you go rum and ginger beer, or you go a dark and stormy. Dark and stormy is traditionally the added thing of limes and Angostura bitters. So I'm just going to do this. This should fit perfectly in this glass now. I've just got my ginger beer. This is actually quite a feisty ginger beer without being too sweet. Old Jamaica's making a big, huge comeback. I don't think personally Fever Tree works that well. That's just me. And there's a lot of conversations I have. Not many people like actually adore that Fever Tree ginger beer. Look at that. That's better. That's the glass I wanted for the rum and coke. There we go. Need to get 2 or 3 of those. So you've got your rum and ginger beer. I just think you need a couple of wedges of lime in there as well. The lime really does work well with the ginger beer. But then the added bonus is the Angostura bitters. So just a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters on the top there. And you've got an absolutely perfect dark and stormy. God damn, that's flipping delicious. I grew up on those. Literally my early 20s. I did love Coke. Early 20s through probably to like my 30s. It was rum and ginger beer. I really struggled to get ginger beer back in those days out in bars. They just really didn't have it. It was ginger ale most of the time. For me, that's still, when you get a really good ginger beer, and you get a great rum to go with it, that is a fantastic drink. Now, before I move on to sort of the cocktails where you need to start shaking and stuff like that, I just want to build on, because there is another way to make a dark and stormy that I actually really love. Now, people are going to like, basically the route I'm going down is fresh ginger and maybe served in a glass like that. What I absolutely love, because I went through this phase a lot because I could never find the ginger beer that I absolutely loved. What I would do is I'll get fresh ginger, sort of juice it down, add that with a touch of lime, actually a touch of lemon as well. Very slight drizzle of sugar, bit of rum, and then plain soda water. Just had to take a break then because the gas has already got to me with the burps. I can't handle fizzy drinks that much. Anyway, so you got your plain ginger, your ginger, your touch of sugar, a touch of citrus, and soda water, and then you can play about with the level of feistiness, and that is a fantastic sort of dark and stormy. I really do like that. Now the reason I've got this here is like many people, this is pretty much UK and Europe, Ireland in Europe as well. I don't think it translates in the US, but Monin have got a range that they call, I don't know, but hopefully you'll see that in a close-up. It says concentrate on there. Do not think of these things as sweet. These things are as close to, in this case, ginger as you could possibly get. Yes, there's a few stabilizers in there to keep it long life, shelf stable, etc. But these are not syrups. This is not a ginger syrup. This is a ginger concentrate. And all you need is like a 20 ml shot of that, maybe 15 ml, with just a touch of citrus and your rum and a touch of soda water. Oh my God. You can basically play about with the level of feistiness. This stuff is next level for me and will be coming out to play in a lot of cocktails. 5 ml here, 15 ml there. This stuff is brilliant, but fresh ginger will do the same. So don't think you have to go the ginger beer route. You can easily make your own if you want to. Right, drinks are way in the fridge so I can enjoy them a bit later. By the way, I'm filming this virtually the 1st of June. And I've got both heaters on. that's how cold it is here today. It's flipping stupid weather. Anyway, good time for rum cocktails. So moving swiftly on. Now we're getting to the much more in-depth, well, we'll say much more in-depth, involved a little bit of shaking and involve a little bit of sort of playing around to find your own kind of personal thing. I'm going to start with the daiquiri, the most, I was going to say the B word then, but the most messed up cocktail by bartenders. And again, this is personal preference. You know, there is no right and wrong at the end of the day. I'm a traditionalist. I like light, clean, crisp, and bright. I go column still, white, unaged rum. That's for me. I know plenty of people that go aged Jamaican rum, aged rums, but for me, they kind of lose what the daiquiri is about. That's just my own personal opinion. That's not a right or wrong. That's not me saying you're making it wrong. That's just me saying, you know, look at what the cocktail was, how it was invented. You know, it was light, clean, crisp, and bright. And for me, when people ask me what is my favorite cocktail, it's such a cliche, but this 3 ingredients, and oh my God, you can make it. I'm going to show you how to sort of just put slight little riffs on it and take it in different directions without getting too crazy. But we're going to do the daiquiri. So the daiquiri, shaken cocktail. First off, you know, you need a proper shake of this. What I want you to do for the purpose of this video is scroll to the white rum section here. You'll notice I've got white rums in here. You'll notice I've put them as pot still, as column still. Personally, if you want to start where I am, and this is not basically a column still rum won't give you the depth and won't give you the sort of the layers that a pot still rum has got, and that's why I like it for this cocktail. I don't want the daiquiri to be complicated. I just want to, you know, it's icy cold, it's perfectly balanced with citrus and sugar. It's just phenomenal. So I actually going to go there. There's a couple of rums that I could use in the book. Chairman's Reserve white rum, superb in this, probably is my favorite, but for some unknown reason I've always got a massive love affair with the Ron Cube Carta Blanca. This is a Cuban rum, Puerto Rican rum. That column still sort of rum from Chairman's Reserve there does work. That is my personal preference. So my own ratios for a daiquiri. Daiquiris are all about finding your ratios, and again, there is no right or wrong. I do a 5-2 1.5 ratio. So that's easy to relate. If you take one part as 10 mil, my 5 would be 50 mil, my 2 would be 20 mil, my 1.5 would be 15 mil. That's really easy to work out. Some people do a 2-1-1, so that could be 2 shots. So if 30 mil is your shot, then that could be 60 mil, followed by 30 mil of lime and sugar. There is no right or wrong. You just have to play about. If it's not quite right, adjust the recipes and adjust the ratios. And this is where people go wrong. They will have, some bartenders will predominantly make them really sweet and that will put people off. And some people make them really, really dry without that much sugar and put them off. The whole point is you have to find your ratios, and you probably have to do that at home, because then that gives you the confidence to go out into bars and say, this is how I like my daiquiri. But if you don't know how you like your daiquiri, you're not going to know. And the bartender's just going to make it and you're like, oh, that's not quite right. But you're not going to understand why it's not quite right. So your rum of choice. I'm going for 50 ml of the Ron Cube. The Casablanca, even though the Chairman's Reserve wins it in a blind tasting for me, I always come back to this. I don't know why. Lime juice. Now, I'm not going to get all geeky about lime juice. I could do, but I won't do. That's me in a different role for what I do. I'm just going to say, go on the internet, look at different studies, look at that. People always bang on about fresh lime juice as better. I do sometimes. And there's a reason to this. Fresh lime juice against bottled 100% lime juice is where it's at for me. I do go to bottled 100% lime juice because I like the flavour of lime juice a few hours after it's oxidised, and that's where you get the bottled, 100% bottled stuff. I've done it in blind tastings. I'm going around the country as we speak in a different role that I do, doing blind tastings with different lime juices. Fresh never, ever wins. Ever. Unless it's fresh that's been juiced 2, 3, 4 hours ago. For me and a lot of people in blind tasting, lime juice does need that tiny bit of oxidization. And again, people squeeze, and it's not a hate on, it's saying it's wrong, but people squeeze a lime. The only problem is you don't know how much juice is in that lime. Cocktails are all about ratios. So you could say the juice of one lime. One lime might give you 15 ml. The next lime might give you 25 ml. It's just how it is. So for me, always measure cocktails. So my 2 parts, 20 ml is my lime juice there. And then my sugar syrup, just a point to note here, I do use branded, but it is a 2-to-1 sugar. You know, that's what I believe in. If you go 1-to-1, it's obviously not as sweet as a 2-to-1, so you might need a bit more sugar. So this is a 2-to-1. I swear by this stuff. I've got Bristol here in the UK as well. It's always a 2-to-1 sugar. So 15 ml of sugar syrup. And then what we need to do, hopefully I can do this quickly without editing, is just ice this up. So you want proper, don't know where my scoop is, but excuse the hands. I'm at home. I'm not in a professional bar for those of you that kick off when I do this. I'm at home in my film studio. You want ice, completely fill this up. You want your cocktail shaker. This is a high grade of stainless steel cocktail shaker, okay? You know, the higher the grade of stainless steel, the more expensive they are, the more they conduct heat, meaning it's more efficient to chill them down. Don't do that. That's really not going to chill your cocktail down. That's going to serve you no purpose. You really want to, and I've really got bad rotator cuffs, so I'm not looking forward to this, but I've got to do it. It's why I don't do bars anymore, work bars. But you really need a proper shake. Jesus, bartenders my age, we've all got dodgy rotator cuffs. We can't do it. I can't swing a golf club to save my life. But look, that's the difference between an expensive cocktail shaker and shaken hard, as opposed to like a thinner grade of stainless steel. You know, that's what you want. Proper frosting. Hopefully that comes up on the close up there. So, Nick and Nora glass. People are put off this cocktail because it always looks really small. But that's the whole beauty of it. This is done in 2, maybe 3 gulps if you're lucky. I've got my sexy, love this thing from Barfly. Massive fan. All in one double strainer, fine mesh double strainer. You've got that little sieve in there with the springs. No need to double strain now. It means you can do 2 at once. Double strain that. You want to double strain your daiquiris because you don't want any little tiny shards of ice going in your cocktail. I hate that. I know some people in the comments are going to absolutely love that, but I flipping hate that. I've got my perfect ratio there. I don't want any ice crystals to water that down even more. So double strain that. Perfect ratio for that glass. No need to garnish. Couple of gulps. I'm not going to down it because I've got a lot more cocktails to fill. But that is flipping gorgeous. And the pinnacle of rum cocktails. Cheers. Now moving swiftly on to the 4th cocktail, 4th drink, and this is the Mojito. Now, when people say, what's your favourite cocktail? I always sort of say the daiquiri, but actually the Mojito is my favourite cocktail to teach. It is always the standard cocktail that I have on every single cocktail masterclass. By the way, if you don't know, I'm very well known, especially in my neck of the woods, for doing a hen party cocktail masterclasses, bachelorettes to you guys in the US. I've done well over 1,200 hen parties now. All in all, masterclasses well over 1,1600 from corporates, from celebrities, that sort of stuff. That's what I'm known for. The Mojito is always the first cocktail I do, simply because A, it's fun to make, but B, when you learn to make it properly, you really do understand that people hate, oh, don't like the Mojito. Everyone's had a bad Mojito experience. Everyone. Whether it's too sweet, too citrusy, too limey, too minty. You know, I love to break this down. I love to show it. And I have pretty much 100%, 99% success rate in this. I convert most people from that, or don't like mojitos, to, actually, that's really good. And this is why. So I'm going to take you through. I've done this. There's plenty of videos already on my channel about how to make this, but I just love doing the Mojito. The beautiful thing with this, you go straight in the glass. You don't need to shake it. I would recommend you get some crushed ice ready as well. I have got that. I think hopefully my ice scoop's in my crushed ice, but there we go. So the first thing we need to do, I've got the remnants of another lime there, but you want a lime, and this is the fun. You could do it with lime juice, but it's the fun. And so I always have limes here for the Mojito and to make it fun. Whip the little bit that's come off the tree, cut it in half, cut each half into 3 wedges. So you've got 6 wedges in total, and you whack all 6 wedges into your glass. Now, yes, This is a contradiction to what I said in the previous cocktail, because that lime might give me 5-10 mil more lime juice than another lime. That's how it is. But this is the fun of making it. So this is very different, but never really fails. You can always balance it out, and I'm going to show you why. Now, again, sugar syrup here. Again, you know, Caribbean, they're going to use what I call powdered sugar, but granulated or caster sugar. We, over this neck of the woods, and I'm pretty much assuming in the US as well, will always use sugar syrup. I'm looking around. I've lost my jigger. I'll get a new jigger. So, with mojitos, with cocktails especially, it's a lot easier to sweeten it up than it is to sour back down. So for me, this is where everyone's had a bad mojito experience. It'll either be too sweet or not sweet enough. So what I recommend you do is 15 ml to start off with. You can always add more sugar. Very rarely do I ever encounter anyone that doesn't need 15 ml of sugar in their cocktail. I'll be honest, 50% of people that I come across will add more sugar at the end. There's nothing wrong with that. I liken this, what I say in most of my cocktail masterclasses, tea and coffee drinkers, give me a little wave. Everyone, you know, people go, oh yeah. Now I say, keep your hands up if you take sugar in your tea or coffee, and then half the hands will go down. Very often these days, actually the majority of hands will go down. Not many people have sugar in their tea and coffee. But what that demonstrates is that people have got sweeter palates than the other half. So even though I'm showing this recipe for me, I know this ratio works for me. For some of you, it might not. You might need a touch of sugar. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't just say I'm wrong. You have to balance cocktails for your own personal taste. So I've got 15 ml. Remember, if you want more sugar, always start off with 15 ml until you know that you can add more sugar, okay? Now you want the muddler, or if you've got a rolling pin at home, my rotator cuff really isn't good for this. It's all right on the table when I'm down low, but up here, tiptoes, just muddle, push down, twist 8, 10, 12 times, get all that lovely juice out of the limes, all that flavour out of the zest. That's what you want. Lime juice is great and perfect for a daiquiri, absolutely perfect, but for the mojito, you really want those zesty kind of flavours coming out in there. So we've got our limes, we've got our sugar in there. The next way I go personally is, and this is just purely because the way that Masterclass works, bearing in mind I'm mobile, people are not coming to my bar, I'm going to them. So it's pretty much tables, chairs, not a bar scenario. So what I want is 8 to 10 decent mint leaves coming off here, fresh from my lovely little lady village greengrocer. There's a couple of dodgy bits on the end there of that one. It smells amazing though. If you're in the UK, you'll understand what I mean here by supermarket mint. This will work exceptionally well. I don't really need to do this for this mint because this mint is proper fresh and zingy. But most people will put mint in with the limes and they'll muddle it, and all that's going to do is get the bitterness out of the leaves and the herbs, and you really don't want that. Supermarket mint, Tesco, UK, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Ocado, it all works a treat. Smell it. It's minty, it's all right. You know, this stuff is mint on steroids already because it's proper fresh mint from my little village greengrocer. But what I would recommend you do, supermarket mint, open it, give it a spank. That now just awakes all the aromas. That is mint on steroids. You just literally pop that in your glass. You do not need to muddle any mint, ever. That's my rule, okay? So put that there to one side there. Now we come on for the rum. So if you scroll into I'm a big fan of white rum in here. Yes, gold rums can work in mojitos, but I'm more about white rums. Scroll to my white rum page on my ebook. Actually, I'm going to be a contradiction to the daiquiri here. Yes, I do have my favourites without a doubt. And again, I do go column still, but you know what? Pot still will work in here as well. The rum is pretty much up to you. On my masterclasses, I take a mix of pot and column still out there, different brands. People have the right, you know, their own different things. The Plantaray will come out, which is more vanilla-y, you know. I've got the Havana there, which is more floral kind of notes that come out there. I have a Barbados rum, which is more sort of tropical notes. There's no right or wrong for this. Just do your own. For me, it's right here. I'm going to do Chairman's Resi, and I'm going to do a double bubble of rum in there. And then the final, I go this way. As I say, I'm not a professional bar here. I haven't got soda guns or anything like that. I've just got bottles of soda water. This was opened yesterday. Hopefully there's a little bit of fizz in there. no more than halfway. Oh, there's a little bit, there's quite a bit of fizz in there. No more than halfway up your glass. You do not need to over dilute your mojitos. And then you want, found my jigger. Then you want crushed ice. Crushed ice, you have to have crushed ice with mojitos. Don't completely fill your glass. You just want a little bit there. You take a long bar spoon. Remember, your lime and your sugar's quite heavy. It's going to be at the bottom. Your mint's there as well. So you just need to churn it. Bring those flavors, especially the sugar. Bring those flavors through the cocktail. Give it a churn. Nice and easy. That combines all those. More crushed ice. Top it up. There we go. Make the drink look pretty. We do that. This is a question in all my masterclasses. You know, the standard question comes out, you know, why do us bartenders use that much ice in the drinks? Probably be one for you guys at home. Vast majority of the answer is, oh, you're being tight, you know, you didn't let this out. I always do mojitos this way. It's part of the masterclass to show you that actually we've done the whole liquids first. The amount of ice, you know, it doesn't, if you say less ice to us, you've not got any more cocktail because we've already made the cocktail. All right, so the more ice you have in your glass, the colder it stays for longer. Therefore, the less dilution you end up with in your finished drink. Think of those great big damn gin balloons, those great big coppers that the Spanish have for their gin. They were invented purely because the Spanish are one of the biggest consumers of gin and tonic in the world per capita. They wanted, you know, they smaller glasses, their ice was melting in the Spanish sun. They invented bigger glasses so they could put more ice in there so they could sit back and enjoy their gin and tonics. Again, the more ice you have in your glass, the colder your drink stays for longer, therefore the less dilution you end up with in your finished drink. Final little touch, sprig of mint, back of the hand to awake the aromas, and then the straw goes beside the sprig of mint, so when you have a little sip, it's the mint that's going straight up your nostrils. Oh, God damn, that's good. Oh my God, that's good. Now, if you drink that and you get this little sharp citrusy, oh, add 15 ml more sugar. That's all it is. For me, perfectly balanced. I don't need any more sugar than that. That is bang on the money. But I know some people who drink that now. I could put 10 people in front of me and probably, at the rate we're going at the moment, probably 6 people would absolutely love it. 4 people would be, oh no, oh, that's too sharp, too citrusy. For those people, add a touch more sugar to it. If you want to go flavored mojitos, there are so many ways. This could be a whole new video in itself, but just the broad spectrum here. I'm just going to grab the nearest one. Let's go for that one. If you want to go flavored mojitos, the quick and easy route to go is swap your plain sugar syrup for a flavored sugar syrup. So for the swap for that, you've got passion fruit sugar there. Really, really easy. Passion fruit. What have we got there? Pineapple, pina colada, coconut, cherry, hibiscus, grapefruit, mango, orange, blue. You name it. I've got most of the monies up there, even behind my backside. What's that? That's the cherry, innit? Cherry and vanilla there, grapefruit sherbet, raspberry, strawberry, you name it, swap that. You can add another brand that I have got. Have I got in here? I've got coconut here. This is what I actually carry on most of my hen parties, and I've got most of these bottles. These are 50% fruit, 50% sugar, same as Mon and Lefroy. Carry these strawberry, mango, passion fruit, hibiscus, grapefruit. What else is there? Flipping loads, blood orange, apricot, you name it. Just a little squirt. Because these are not as sweet as a sugar syrup, you can just add that now and it's not overly sweet. You could even use fresh fruit, but my thing against fresh fruit is you can never guarantee consistency. So sometimes you'll get raspberries that are really juicy in flavour, other times you won't. Same with blueberries, same with blackberries, same with strawberries, especially strawberries. You know, it's only a certain time of the year the strawberries are properly ripened in season. So if you did a strawberry mojito with fresh strawberries in, I don't know, say September, it's not going to taste as good as what it does in June. So I'm a big advocate for purees. You could go flavoured rums. We've got plenty in the UK now. Pineapple, I forget what I've got down there. Raspberry, mango comes out. Earl Grey rum, you know, all for hen parties and stuff like that. You could even go flavoured soda waters. Franklin's and Sons, the brand that I use, guava and lime, pineapple and almond, mandarin and ginger, peach and mango. The world is your oyster. Play about with a mojito, but that is the basic version and that is flipping tasty. Let's move on to the Pina Colada. slight variance to the recipe that I'm going to show you that's in my ebook, purely because I haven't got one ingredient, but I just want to show you what can and can't work. And I've just remembered something, thinking of that. I was going to show you how to flip up daiquiris and stuff like that. Actually, I'm going to save that to the final video. Okay, so if you're thinking, hang on a minute, he didn't show me how to riff up a daiquiri, the final cocktail will get involved in all that as well. All right, so Pina Colada. I've got slightly, these get caned absolutely. I make my hules in these every single day, like 2 or 3 times a day. These get caned, absolutely caned. Let's go for that. My little NutriBullet. So, let's go first for the rum in here. So I want you to scroll down to your gold rum section. I firmly believe, having done the Pina Colada dissection probably about a month ago now, maybe 6 weeks ago on this channel, I firmly believe that a golder rum is more suited to the Pina Colada than a white unaged rum. I'm not saying it has to be. If you like white unaged, you go and do that. But what I found especially is this Don Q Gold for me was the pinnacle. And actually Bounty as well, Bounty Gold Rum, Bounty Dark Rum in this, you know, just something a bit lighter but with a bit more flavour. You could go more aged rums in this, of course you can. I just think the Pina Colada doesn't need to be overcomplicated, but I just think when you get something like this, the added kind of vanilla-iness, the added, because obviously this is aged in oak barrels, so you're going to get a little bits of vanilla, a little bits of caramel, cinnamon maybe coming on from the woods in there. I just think something like these, the gold rums, lightly aged, not like a 4-year-old, not like an 8-year-old, but a gold rum, it's ideally suited to the Pina Colada. So we're going to go 60 ml to start off with your rum of choice. I genuinely don't think you can beat Don Q for this. I'm going to go for my pineapple juice next, which is pressed. If you're in the UK, what I mean by pressed is those fresh bottle, either innocent, which will be in the fresh juice aisle as well, or the supermarket own brands. This stuff is the Tesco stuff. It's 6 pineapples. All it is pressed down there. How that translates into the US, US have sweetened and unsweetened. Think of this as unsweetened. Our stuff sweetened is called not from concentrate, or from concentrate. So you get those 1 litre Tetra packs in the long life shelf stable. They will be from concentrate and add a touch of sugar. They still taste really good, but they're not quite as good as sort of this stuff. So for this, I'm going for my recipe. I'm going for 90 ml of 100% pressed pineapple juice in here. While I've got my jigger in my hand, I'm going to go for, this is where the variance is if you're looking on my, I do love to use coconut milk in here. And by that, in the UK, we get lots of alternatives for coffees and stuff. Alpro, for example, all those kind of brands do coconut milk. I'm not talking about tins of coconut milk. I'm talking about the sort of Tetra packs we get here in the UK that every coffee shop has for your, you know, coconut lattes, for your coconut cappuccinos, all that sort of stuff. I haven't got any at this precise moment, so I'm just going for a little bit of milk, but I do kind of like that creamy, not necessarily dairy, but that creamy kind of consistency. But here's where a lot of people go wrong. They will add 30, 45, 60 ml. You don't need that much. I'm purely going for 15 ml. 15 ml, that's it. This is semi-skim milk, and it will still work a treat. It's just not coconut, that's all. So that's me. I don't handle full fat. I can't handle cream or anything like that. So that's where I am. Now, coconuts. I'm going to get these out. This is the one. There we go. These are all different brands. Remember, I've talked about this. Go and watch. I'm not going to go in depth about this now. I'll try and, if I remember, put a link in the video, a link in the description below where I talk about all these. There is no big difference between these, and if you're thinking oh, I use Coco Lopez, that's much better, it's absolute nonsense. These are all cream of coconuts. Okay, they're not coconut creams. Coconut creams are natural. Cream of coconuts are blended with sugar. If you want the most authentic of all of these to coconut is Monin, closely followed by that one. Okay, and then that will be third and that will be fourth, purely on the amount of coconut actually in these, real life coconut. So I actually use the Monin. On my masterclasses, I always use that because that's a lot easier to manipulate. But here, I kind of, they're a pain in the bottles are a pain in the ass to use. That's all it is, really. So I'm going for, now I've done this, for 45 ml of, so you have to kind of kind of have to use 2 hands for this and give the bottle a damn good squeeze, you know, and it still doesn't run out. There we go. There we go. Look, that's the only thing with these mornings. They're just not sort of bartender focused, if you like, you know. They're right, but when you start having to use 2 hands to pour something, that's not brilliant. Right, but for flavour, oh my God, it's good. Really, really good. Right, I'm going to get my little finger in there in a second and scoop that out. The only other little touches that I kind of do, that a lot of bartenders don't, I kind of play about this. I do like a little bit of citrus in here. Again, you don't have to. Miss this out if you really don't want to. Original Pina Colada is just rum, pineapple, coconut. But I like to kind of play about and just create the perfect. So I've gone 15 ml of citrus because I do like that. But to kind of balance that out, I do actually like to use a saline solution. I know this is getting a bit geeky, but all this is measure your saline solution. It is essentially a 1:5 ratio, 1 part salt to 5 parts water. Measure it on a scales. Best way to do that, I've just topped that up now. This is 20 grams of salt to 80 grams of water. Okay, 20 salt, 80 grams of water. If you do it in mil, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't, it's kind of out. And this guaranteed for most cocktails, 5 drops. If you do like a 1:5 ratio, so 20 grams to 80 grams, so 100 is your max, is your thing. 5 drops, 3, 4, 5 is the benchmark for every single cocktail. Saline solution, bit of salt in cocktails really works. Right, I'm going to add some crushed ice to that. I'm going to blend it on my NutriBullet for about 5 seconds. But before that, I'm going to stick my finger in. Then literally 5 seconds later, you've got this lovely sort of slush puppy. Again, if you watch videos where they say add, I forget what it is. I've got some here. What's it called? It's called xanthan gum. That's the word. If you watch videos where people say, I've lost another pineapple now, add xanthan gum. With purees like this, with coconut, you don't need to. The xanthan gums are already in there. It's when you make homemade syrups and homemade coconut stuff, okay? You don't need any xanthan gum in that at all. It's already in the coconut. And xanthan gum is just a stabilizer, if you like. All right, so you don't need it. You don't need to buy it. That's what it kind of looks like. I've got some here just in case, but never need it. And just my dried, sort of dehydrated pineapple fronds on top there. I haven't got any dried pineapple slices. Haven't got any pineapple fronds yet, but a couple of pineapple fronds, job done. Pina Colada. Oh, God, that is tasty. Just that little bit of citrus and that little bit of salt. Salt really elevates that pineapple. This is going to sound crazy, but salt makes that pineapple taste even juicier and even sweeter. It's just this crazy phenomenon, but oh my God, that is good. Right, now let's move on to the Hurricane, another one of my favorite cocktails. And I want you to scroll to 2 places in the ebook. I want you to scroll to the dark rum section and the recipe to this. I'm not going to talk too much about one of the ingredients in here. You can go to the video that I've kind of already done about that not too long ago, literally, as I say, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, if that. The Hurricane is essentially 3 ingredients: rum, citrus, and what we call fashionola syrup. In the UK, and I think pretty much around the world as well, people default to a passion fruit syrup because no one really knows what fashionola is. The only bit of documented history we've got about fashionola is that when this recipe was invented, fashionola was a passion fruit forward syrup with red fruits. I've got my fashionola syrup here. That recipe will be in the ebook, so go and have a look to see what this is. This is a blend of passion fruit, mango, strawberry. I told you the gas from the Dark and Stormies and the colas, they get me. Mango, passion fruit, mango, strawberry, hibiscus, pineapple in there, but the ratios are all in the ebook. Now, this is going to be a blended, flash blended, spindle blend, milkshake blender, whatever you want to call it, cocktail. I have done the recipe for this. I've done the debunking and I found my personal favourite rum, and that's Bounty. But I do firmly believe that actually a gold rum, a dark rum for this, or a slightly longer aged gold rum. Works really well in here. So the dark rum page, and I think it's the page, I call it mid-tier mixers and sippers. But for me, the Bounty Dark absolutely smashes it for this. So really, really easy cocktail this. 60 ml of your rum of choice. I urge you to start off with dark rum. Something like the Worthy Park 109, that sort of Jamaican vibes in there. I know I've loved this. The Plantaray OD, I know I loved in here. I just think this sits with sort of darker rums, but actually a mid-tier aged sipping rum, if you like, works exceptionally well as well. So we've got that. Citrus wise, this is now, I've just topped this up in between cocktails. This is now a 50-50 split of lime juice and lemon juice. I firmly believe that's the right way to go for this. You could just do lemon, that's the original. You could just do lime. It's up to you. I do prefer 50-50 split. So this is 50% lime, 50% lemon, and you just want 30 ml. So 60 ml of rum, 30 ml of your citrus, and then your fashionola syrup. And this stuff is absolutely gorgeous. So again, just 30 ml of your fashionola syrup. Crushed ice, and then we're going to flash blend this for 5-6 seconds. Then that gets poured into your hurricane glass, or actually this is actually a Pina Colada glass. These hurricane glasses are a lot bigger. I'm just going to top this up with more crushed ice. There we go. Perfect. And then garnish passion fruit. Have I got one to hand here? Dried passion fruit and pineapple frond, mint sprig. There we go. Let's just steal some of that mint. There we go. That looks cool. Passion fruit. Here we go. Decent passion fruit. Slice of passion fruit. There we go. That is your hurricane. So simple and so easy. When you nail that fashionola syrup, it's just so good. Oh my God. Wow. I love that cocktail. Really, really love that. Now we come on to the penultimate cocktail. Remember, it's still one of my favorites, and that will flip on the recipe coming up in a minute. But this is the Mai Tai. Now, no matter how I make this cocktail, it will be wrong. It's just a sheer fact. Someone's going to put there, no, you made it wrong. The Mai Tai is one of these cocktails that everyone has their own different recipe, their own different ratios for the rums, their own rum blends. These days, there is no right or wrong, simply because back in the original times, it was made with a 17-year-old Appleton or Ray and Nephew rum that we just don't get anymore. Appleton released a 17-year-old rum. I don't really know whether it's similar to the 17-year-old that was about during the war times. Remember, from my limited understanding, you know, that 17 was only available because of the war, because it got aged for an extra 2 years. So it was Appleton 15 or Ray and Nephew 15. Just aged a bit longer. These days, people like to proclaim that this is the best, that's the best. You do you. When I do, I haven't even decided what rums I'm going to do with this in a moment. When I kind of make this, just bear in mind it's 60 ml of rum, and you have fun playing about with your own rum blend. So again, you could shake this cocktail. My rotator cuff, you've seen that. I'm going to flash blend it. I don't think it makes that much difference actually, flash blending or shaking. As long as you use crushed ice, you get that same similar sort of dilution. So that's what we're going to do. So first off, you want your, again, this will be, this is very much in the, how have I actually done this in the ebook? Yeah, so I put 60 ml of rum, try a blend of gold and dark rums with a healthy hint of pot still Jamaican. That is exactly the sentence that I've put in my ebook, but the rest of the recipe's there. So I'm going to do the rums last. I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to pay attention to what I actually wrote. So I'm going to do 15 ml, 1.5 of lime juice. Back to the 100% lime juice now. And then I'm going for my orange liqueur. I've done various videos on this where actually, do you know what, nectarine, peach liqueurs and stuff like that, apricot liqueurs for a swap. They are great swaps in this, but I'm making a traditional at this precise moment. I don't think, if I ever make a Mai Tai these days, I use apricot brandy and apricot liqueur. I think it smashes it. But to be traditional, 15 ml of the Pierre Ferrand's dry orange curacao. Pretty much the industry standard. I think, if I'm being honest, I might go Mandarin Napoleon, but it is a lot more expensive than what that is. So you've got that. Now, you want your orgeat syrup, your orgeat. I haven't rocked out that joke for quite a while. Or orgeat, orgeat. You could go one of two ways here. I'm just making sure what I've done. Yeah, I have done 7.5 ml of orgeat. So what this basically is your almond syrup. And this one's got a little bit of rose water in it. Sometimes you've got orange blossom water in there. Sorry, the other way around. This one's got orange blossom water in there. Sometimes you've got a little bit of rose essence or whatever in there as well. So I've got that, and 7.5 ml of Demerara sugar on there. So 7.5 ml of orgeat, 7.5 ml of Demerara. So if you're struggling to keep up, the recipes are in that ebook. So we've got that. Now we come on to the rums. I just realised, Christ, I haven't made a Mai Tai for ages. It's 30 ml of rum, isn't it? Of course it is. I've done 15 ml of rum, 30 ml of rum. There we go. Lime juice, sorry. 6 cocktails in. So pay attention to the recipe in the ebook. That's what I've done. Now the recipes. What have I written? I've done try a blend of gold and dark rums with a healthy hint of pot still Jamaican. So pot still Jamaican, dark rum. Let's go there, because that's, do you know what? That is my standard blend. That's what I'm going to do. Just for pure ease, I'm going to do 30 ml of pot still gold and all that. I know a lot of people use Appleton 12-year-old, El Dorado 12-year-old. It's completely up to you. And I'm just going to match up with 30 ml of the Worthy dark as well. So that is my 2 rum blend Mai Tai. I've had comments where someone did a 14 rum blend Mai Tai. I think, if I'm being honest, I think that's a little bit overkill, but 4 I can get down with. But hey, I'm lazy, I'm fat free. If you can get away with 2 rums, you do 2 rums. Right, I'm just going to crushed ice that up, a couple of agitator cubes, chunky cubes, and then just going to flash blend. And then I've got my Mai Tai glass. Again, in the UK, we really struggle to get Mai Tai glasses, but open gated pour into there, top up, just got some more crushed ice ready to go. There we go. Top up with more crushed ice. That is what your Mai Tai should look like. Hopefully I've got some mint here, which I have. And then the mint, so traditionally the garnish for this, you have a mint sprig that signifies a palm tree, if you like. Then you have a lime husk, so the shell of a lime upside down in there. It looks like the island with a palm tree with the trees coming out. That's what it is. However, dried limes in there. Dried limes. There you go. Job done. Merry Christmas. That is your Mai Tai. This is my recipe that I always kind of have and swear by. I love that 2 rum blend of there. But you could literally play about all flipping day. Now for the final recipe, and if you're on my ebook, it is the penultimate page. I'm going to show you how to make that. It's a dragon fruit and papaya daiquiri. But this kind of leads into what I do best. Now, I'm quite impressed with the level of cleanliness in between here. I've only had a couple of cuts in between this. You know, I thought this would be stacked up with glasses and ice and everything, you know, but I've done quite well. World's messiest bartender here. So what I love doing, and I've written this in the ebook as well, is I don't do much training consultancy for bars these days, purely time constraints. But when I do, bartenders, not at the higher end, not in hotel bars or like proper cocktail bars. I'm talking like mid-tier, which I would put myself in, like mid-tier cocktail bars. You try and get, you often see bartenders overreaching, trying to reinvent the wheel, and you really don't need to. Remember, your ultimate goal as a bartender is to create and make drinks that sell and make money. You're not there to win world titles. You're not there to, you know, become the world's best cocktail bar. If that's your chosen route, then fair enough. There's nothing wrong with that. Like Michelin star chefs, they could go on down that route. But us as bartenders, we are there, our sole remit, and this is 98% 8% of us, 99% of us, we are there purely to create drinks that our customers love. And one of the, you know, and that, so this leads back into bartenders try and reinvent the wheel. They'll come up with all these fancy stuff. And at the end of the day, you're just like, put a woo-woo on your menu. Your woo-woo will sell 10 times better than the cocktail you've just made. Now, with that, there is a caveat to that, because just take the woo-woo, for example, there's a very famous woo-woo that I've done where I flipped this up and oh my God, it is absolutely delicious. Remember, woo-woo is just like rum, cranberry juice and peach liqueur. Okay, that's all it is. Archers, essentially, if you're here in the UK. But it's just a little couple of riffs I did on that with a lime and ginger rum, Goldstone's lime and ginger rum. Don't know where the lime and ginger is. There it is, just behind there. With a different peach liqueur, and it just works a treat. And that's what I'm all about. I love doing that. And with the premium upgrade, if you're still watching, there is a premium upgrade, if that's the right thing to call it, of this ebook coming. And there's going to be literally tons and tons and tons of cocktail inspiration coming on there. Not reinventing the wheel, just putting simple riffs and giving you ideas how to change things up. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've banged on about a guava daiquiri. I've banged on about a hibiscus daiquiri, which I absolutely love. I have got this stuff, which I pretty much know is only going to be in the UK, but it's dragon fruit and papaya. Now, just before we go any further, the one thing we do very well here in the UK is have an abundance of amazing flavoured syrups. In the US, these syrups are very, very different. We have got different laws here in the UK of what we can and can't use in syrups. For instance, just take Monin, for instance, a lot of the Monin syrups in the US, we can't sell in the UK. Guava being a big one. Guava syrup, whatever is used in the US, is not allowed to be sold here in the UK because of ingredients. Don't know what they are, I'm not getting technical, but that's just it. So we have an abundance. Our big thing here is different flavoured syrups. Why? Because we haven't got the luxury of proper, ripe, fresh fruit. You know, I couldn't go and get I could get a dragon fruit from the supermarket or from my village greengrocer. If I ask her, and she'll go down to London and get it for me. But I could get dragon fruits, but they're not going to be ripe. They're not going to be as juicy and as sweet as what they are in their native countries. Same with papaya. So we have syrups to fill those voids, and these syrups do, regardless of your viewpoint on syrups, they do taste really, really good. Yes, you could make your own. That's the whole point. If you've got fresh fruit, do it. A, I can't be bothered with the faff. B, there's no point in getting involved in the faff when you've got products that taste this good. C, we just haven't got the raw materials. Passion fruits are not the same as what they are in the US, in Canada, in California, in wherever, Asia, wherever they are. Our passion fruits do not just taste the same. So we rely on purees, we rely on syrups, and they taste really, really, really good. If you're getting on your high horse about sugar and all this sort of stuff, remember, you know, you are adding sugar to a lot of this stuff anyway to make your home blend syrups. So there is no right or wrong. But without that, so the whole point of this little bit is I'm going to make the daiquiri, the first cocktail that I made, but I'm going to put simple riffs and twists on it. And this is it, the dragon fruit and papaya. So I'm going to use exactly the same rum that I did in that very first cocktail. I'm going to keep to the whole 5-to-1 ratio. Again, play about with your ratios. You know, different syrups at different levels of sweetness, and you want different amounts to them. I've just looked at the recipe I put in front of me. I put 60 ml. You know, so I've already changed it here, but I'll adapt it. Yes. Don't be right. We'll do 60 ml. My ice cube's gone. So another 10 ml. There we go. 60 ml of that. And then got 25 ml of lime juice, which we should have enough in there. 25 ml of lime juice, or 22.5 ml. That'll do. Pretend it's 25. So I've got that. Now, I've put this with some of the syrups. There's different brands here. Don't just think, and this is where a lot of people go wrong and where syrups get a bad name, because people just think they're all the same level of sweetness, and they're really not. For example, I've got 3 brands here, and I'm just going to pick, it doesn't matter, they're all going to be different bottles, but 3 brands. well, 4 brands if you include that. They're all very different levels of sweetness. ODK are flavour forward as opposed to sweetness forward. You might need a touch of sugar to go with that. I'm going to add a touch of sugar to go with this Sweetbird. But with the Bristol and the Monin, you don't need any plain sugar if you've got flavoured because they are perfectly balanced. So there is not one formula fits all. It is very much a just to taste. And there's nothing wrong to adding plain sugar to these 2 brands, because at the end of the day, if these aren't as sweet and you're adding sugar, they're just going to be the same amount of sugar as what you've got in these brands anyway. So, you know, don't just think, oh, you're adding sugar, there's too much sugar and all that. Cocktails all about balance, all about ratios, and different brands use different amounts. So what I'm going for is 15ml, 1/5 of this dragon fruit and papaya syrup in there. But to balance that out, to really bring that flavour out, and yes, I would argue that, do you know what, if they rebalance that a little bit better, then, you know, it'd be ideal. But the fact is, I do need 5ml of sugar syrup just to kind of balance it out. So I've got my rum, I've got my dragon fruit and hibiscus in there. The other thing that I put on there, and this is what I wanted to touch on in the original, I've added some bitters, and I've added some of these Still a Bunt honey bitters. Now, with the original cocktail, the original daiquiri I did, you can add 5, 6, 7 drops of any of your favourite bitters. I've got some daiquiri bitters here, pineapple and mint. You know, 6 to 10 drops of that in your plain daiquiri to start off with. You've got a lovely sort of pineapple sort of vibe going on your daiquiri. If it's right here to hand, where are they? Up here. They're my banana ones. Pineapple and star anise. You know, so you've got a pineapple star anise vibe. I've got banana bitters in there as well. You know, you can add like 6, 10, 12 drops of banana bitters. It's not going to unbalance the cocktail. It's just going to add an extra oomph of flavour. So these are different ways you can add different flavours to your cocktails. I'm just going to add 6 drops of, there we go, of these honey bitters. So this is in effect a honey, dragon fruit and papaya daiquiri. My shoulder's really struggling, so I'm going to cut here because I know I'm going to struggle to shake this on camera. I'm going to ice this up and shake it. Honestly, if you see me shaking that, rotator cuff, dodgy, oh, right there. Really, really. So many bartenders have that injury when you get to my age if you're still doing it. Anyway, I was like, so a proper shake. I've still got it cold. I've done all right, you know. And then we're just going to double strain that into our favourite Nick and Nora glass. Again, garnish it up if you want to. You don't really need to. Have fun playing about with your daiquiris. In the comments below, if you're still watching, give me a big thumbs up. If you can find what fruit should we go for? Let's go for, what emoji? Let's just go for a strawberry. Comment with the strawberry emoji below if you're still watching. Comment with different flavour riffs and of daiquiris, of mojitos, of whatever you've got coming. Remember, download my ebook. If you haven't done already, you should have done. Download that. I'm going to start sending emails and stuff like that. Nothing salesy or anything like that. I'm going to up my game. But the premium upgrade, if you like, is coming very, very soon. That's what I'm working towards now. With lots of different flavours, lots of different recipes, lots of different inspiration on there to help people at home, to help bars, to help bartenders, just have more fun with rum. Very, very long video. Thank God I'm finishing up with this. Until the next time, cheers. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so good. The honey. I do get the honey from those bitters and that passion fruit, dragon fruit. Oh my God. Passion fruit, dragon fruit, papaya and dragon fruit. That is tasty. That's a way to finish. See you next time.